Welcome, subscribers and guests. You're listening to DoublePlusMedia News. Let's go. New York Times. School mask mandate to be lifted in New Jersey. For the first time since the start of the pandemic, New Jersey districts will be permitted to allow students and teachers to stop wearing masks. Governor Phil D. Murphy of New Jersey, a Democrat who has imposed some of the nation's most stringent pandemic-related mandates, will no longer require students and school employees to wear masks, signaling a deliberate shift towards treating the coronavirus as part of daily life. Commentary. Oh geez, sounds like pandering to me. Why? Because masks were not doing anything to begin with. Sure, if you're using an N95 mask correctly, it might limit some transmission. But these are children and teachers, not doctors and nurses. Not to mention you can walk to a coffee shop and take your mask off to drink coffee. It's an aerosolized virus that is 70 times more contagious than Delta. This is political. The sad part is, it was always political when general prohibitions were put in place across disparate regions. Now mandates are being lifted everywhere. What a coincidence! Sounds like the United States is going to lift all mandates in March and claim victory over the virus. Dumb. NPR. The placebo effect could lead to powerful new treatments for Parkinson's disease. Paul has lived with Parkinson's disease for more than a decade. Although he has difficulty rising out of his chair, he was able to leap up to keep his young grandson from falling down a flight of stairs. Scientists are trying to understand how this phenomenon works in the brain. Paul knew his young grandson was in danger. Quote, "Out of the corner of my eye, I could see this little figure moving," he says. The figure was heading for a steep flight of stairs. Commentary. The placebo effect is fascinating. But first, what is the placebo effect? WebMD says anything that seems to be a quote-unquote real medical treatment but isn't. So in a placebo effect situation, a person can respond as if something is affecting them, when really it's all them, their perception. Absolutely insane to think this guy got out of his chair to save the child. Meanwhile, optimists' lives are getting better while pessimists' lives are getting worse. Just by listening to this episode, you have become smarter. Nice. Ka-ching! ABC. California to lift indoor mask mandate for vaccinated people on February 15th, Newsom says. California will lift mask mandate as Omicron cases fall. Our hospitalizations have stabilized across the state. Our statewide indoor mask requirement will expire on February 15th. Unvaccinated people will still need to wear masks indoors. Commentary. Again, another reversal here. This was entirely predicted based on our understanding of Omicron. Unvaccinated still have to wear masks when there is no data around wearing masks in general. I can understand this from a political perspective. Essentially, Newsom can't tell the vaccinated that the unvaxxed get a pass. He has to punish them all the way to the end. Don't be surprised if he keeps restrictions on unvaxxed people, even if they have natural immunity. Even if it comes out that vaccinations increase your chances of miscarriage threefold or cancer threefold. The unvaxxed, the ones at risk, need to be punished and the vaccinated celebrated. Even though unvaxxed were heroes just a year ago, facing a more deadly strain of the virus. Sorry, I'm ranting now and I just don't like Newsom. Such a weasel to me. If you see him in the streets and start recording, I guarantee he will do something asinine. Who's her? CBC. Winnipeg police ID driver accused in hit and run involving protesters against pandemic restrictions. Winnipeg police have identified a man accused of hitting 4 people with his SUV on Friday night during a protest against pandemic restrictions outside of the Manitoba legislature. David Alexander Zagara, 42, of Headingley, Manitoba, has been charged with a number of offenses, including 4 counts of assault with a weapon, failing to stop at the scene of an accident, and dangerous operation of a vehicle causing bodily harm. All victims survived and have been released from the hospital. Commentary. This is pretty common at any protest. I mean, people have been isolated for 2 years. In this one specifically, they are pissed and crazy. Add to that constant narrative shitting from multiple media sources. Douchebags. And you form bubbles of hatred. If we could have more open dialogue in our media, we could start to see that issues are nuanced and not black and white. I was watching some of the Canadian politicians from Alberta and Saskatchewan, and a caller made a comment that lifting mandates was going against the quote-unquote right thing, as if there was a one-way only solution. When will we live in a time where politicians can talk about both sides of an argument and try to steel man the dialogue? Give the public a chance to hear the strongest arguments and then debate and come up with solutions. Have we just been regressing in dialogue? We can do better. Be better. BBC. Paralyzed man with severed spine walks thanks to implant. A paralyzed man with a severed spinal cord has been able to walk again thanks to an implant developed by a team of Swiss researchers. It is the first time someone has had a complete cut to their spinal cord and has been able to walk freely. The same technology has improved the health of another paralyzed patient to the extent that he has been able to become a father. The research has been published in the journal Nature Nature Medicine. Commentary. Hey, just mentioned this on my last episode. Spinal cord recovery. Can't wait till people can do flips off buildings and just be totally healed the next day. Cell realignment therapy. Parkour will be so awesome and without consequence. Ka-ching! Thanks for listening, and a double plus thanks for likes, comments, and subscribers.